There are three main reasons why you keep choosing the wrong people. And it may sound simple on the surface, but once you actually understand what's going on underneath, it changes everything. And for us, it wasn't until we addressed all these things that we ended up in a healthy relationship and getting engaged in the summer. So if you're tired of having the same heartbreak over the same people, just in different bodies, stick around till the end, and then you too can be as happy as we are. First thing that you have to address in order to figure out why you keep choosing the wrong people is your mommy and daddy issues. And I know you've probably heard that before, and you either just rolled your eyes like, yeah, I know, like, tell me about it. Have you met my dad? Or you're like, that's not me. My parents are great.
Perfect people.
They're perfect. They didn't give me any issues. And look, my parents are fantastic people too. My dad is super sweet and loving, and he always gave me lots of hugs. And then my mom is like the sweetest, most thoughtful person. They didn't hit me or anything, which is pretty rare for someone that looks like me. So, they're extra great. But even given that, they aren't perfect, and they still cause me huge pain despite their best intentions. And unless your parents are named Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, then your parents have caused you pain too, whether you realize it or not.
So whether you want to admit it or not.
Yeah, whether you want to admit it or not, everybody has mommy and daddy issues. And I kind of wish it wasn't so stigmatized. Like, oh yeah, they have mommy issues, they have daddy issues. Like, yeah, it's real, and both guys and girls have both. And like the reasons why your parents specifically affect like who you end up in a relationship with is because they form our framework of what masculinity is and what femininity is and how they relate to each other.
And they're also your first primary attachment,
Yeah.
right? They are the people that help you build all of your relational frameworks.
How did your like relationship with your parents affect who you were looking for?
I think that because my childhood was really unstable, where it's like my parents worked a lot, I was like from babysitter to babysitter, like I did not have a safe place to be, and my parents weren't really present because they were busy working, and like I don't fault them for that because obviously they provided for me, but anyways, like that means that I ideally would have wanted to look for someone who was present and who was stable, and a healthy version of me would have looked for someone like that. But the unhealthy version of me often found myself in relationships where people were not present and it was unstable. And it mirrored what my childhood looked like or what my earlier attachments and relationships looked like.
Yeah, yeah, because in our relationships, what you're doing when you're picking the wrong person is you are creating a scenario similar, not exactly the same, but similar to your childhood, where, if your dad was kind of like emotionally unavailable, then you are going to find similarly emotionally unavailable men. And then the whole goal and the whole reason people do that is because they're trying to redeem their childhood pain.
Oh,
So that if I could win them, then that's going to heal the loneliness and abandonment that I felt when I was a kid. And, this is all happening subconsciously. It's very rare that someone is actually aware that they're doing this. Maybe you're just starting to become aware of that, and that's why you're here. So welcome. We have other podcasts too, so check the bio for that.
yeah, and I think that part of it too is like even if you are not explicitly trying to like maybe the scenario doesn't look exactly the same as your childhood, you find something where it like your nervous system finds it familiar
Yeah,
and it finds it like, oh, like I've experienced this before, so maybe it's something that like I can see myself experiencing again.
right.
Is
That's how people end up dating the same people in a different body when they're like, I was so sure that they're different. But, probably the reason why you were attracted to them in the first place is because, like, that familiarity was there, even if, like, they, like, talk different than your ex, they look different from your ex. This sounds super foo-foo, and I don't mean it to be like that, but, like, people's energy attracts, like, the opposite end to that, That's why okay, I have a friend who I don't wanna give too many details, but basically, she had an upbringing where her mom was very ill and very abusive because of that, and then she also had a father who was, like, kind of passive or whatever, like, very nice guy, honestly, kinda similar to my dad, but then she insists that she doesn't have daddy issues because her dad's the nice one, and this is why these things can be so, like, deceptive and tricky. Because like, she'll say, like, "Oh, like, I hate men," and she'll think that, "Oh, it's because of, like, my dating experience, not because of my dad." However, if you have an abusive mother and then your father is not protecting you from that, like, internally, before anyone ever taught us gender roles or anything, there is an internal knowing that my father is supposed to protect me. And then she ends up with, like, these, like, weak, passive people. Like, that was the relationship to masculinity that she had. And so then if you end up with men like that, they're going to let you down. So, like, that's what I mean by, like, energies attracting whatever. I wish there was a better word for it, I'm sorry, but
What your nervous system finds familiar.
yes. Yeah, exactly, and, like, if you hate men, you're gonna find men to hate. If you hate women, you're gonna find women to hate. But if you actually want a successful relationship that's God honoring, then you're gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah. And part of that process is inviting Jesus in to those memories and allowing him to reparent you. I think like this concept of reparenting is not super big, but it's super important.
Yeah.
Like I know that, again, this might sound weird, but like, you know, there's been times where I've gone back to memories that I've had where I felt hurt either by, mom or dad. And then I've invited love into those memories, invited Jesus into those memories and allowed him to step in and bring healing. That reparenting process is what helped me start to build that sense of safety with Dan. Cause like I had trail of men that were not good for me. And like that sure compounded on top of the fact that I had a male wound. But yeah, reparenting and just engaging that process helped me start to regain that trust with opposite sex.
What's next? What's the second one?
Self-loathing. Yeah.
Mhm. Wait, I have a blanket. We're not in our car today, by the way, because we ran out of sunlight, so
Yay, winter.
yeah, gotta love the daylight savings kind.
Yeah, you often attract people that will treat you the way that you treat yourself.
Mm, we accept the love we think we deserve. I think thank you, Percy, being a wallflower. I really liked you in grade 9 because Emma Watson was in that movie, and I love you. Choose Hermione. You know why? Because Hermione was a nerd, and so was she. So there we go.
Anyways, yeah, I think that if you don't love yourself well, and this is not in the sense of like, I just gotta love myself and take care of myself
Yourself.
and treat yourself.
Ah, day.
Yeah, not like that. But if you don't respect yourself and love yourself enough, you will accept any kind of behavior towards you. And so if someone is criticizing you all the time, if somebody is not showing you that they value you, if someone is disrespecting you, if someone is consistently like showing you that you don't matter, chances are that you might feel those things about yourself, or you just don't think that you're worth the time, effort, and intention that it takes to be in a good relationship. And I think like I have definitely found myself in relationships previous to Daniel where it felt like I was just never a priority. I would get canceled on all the time. I felt like a burden to them. It felt like honestly, I was not worth their time and I'm like I accepted that, and it's because I didn't value myself enough to be like, "Okay, you know what? This doesn't feel good to me. This is not how I wanna be treated." And then I kept finding people that further reinforced that
Yeah.
message.
This is probably the biggest reason why the right people actually feel unattractive to you. They actually might scare you a little bit because there's such an incongruence with like how they view you and how they see you versus how you view yourself. I don't exactly understand the psychology behind it, but like there's something about like a secure love that's very scary to somebody who's only used to unsecure love. I think it's a control thing in the sense where, like, if two insecure people are in a relationship, they're both actually trying to control each other so that they get their love needs met. Also, there's a lot of like playing games and a lot of fighting and people call it passion, but like really it's like I'm trying to control you in order to get my needs met, and I feel like that's normal. And no, for some people, like maybe that's just what you witnessed when you were growing up, and you think, okay, well, that's what it's supposed to be like, but it's not.
Yeah.
And that's why when someone comes around who like wants to love you but doesn't like need you and doesn't try to control you, you either feel like I know that there's no spark, or you feel terrified and you like sabotage the relationship. And it's also to do with that incongruence.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of how things were when him and I first started dating. Because I was so used to chasing guys and like trying to prove I'm like, give me your attention, like see me, know me, like I'm worth your attention. And I always had to like try and convince them that I was worth their time, right? And my brain started to learn that like I have to chase men in order for me to get attention. And I did have to do that with Daniel initially because like he wasn't ready to date or like yeah, part of that it was like he wasn't ready to date at the time or that he was like seeing someone else, whatever. But like as soon as he gave me his attention, I'm like, "Oh, I'm out. Gotta go. This is unfamiliar to me. I don't have a chase anymore, so that means this is unsafe."
Yeah.
And that's not how it was, actually. It was good for me to be pursued, but again, that's not what I was used to. I got used to believing that I had to chase and I had to try to prove myself to men.
Yeah, like before her, and probably the reason why like I didn't immediately like chase after you was because, I was used to like more princessy type girls, like girls that felt like
A damsel in distress?
damsel, like kind of powerless, and then like they needed me to help manage their emotions. Like that felt good to me. But then, yeah, like even back then, like before all the therapy and the healing, like you didn't have that vibe. You didn't have that regular thing that I expected. And so, yeah, like it took me a second to think about it. But once I like got to know like her personality a bit more, I'm like, you know what? You have everything that I've wanted, you know? But like again, especially at the beginning, if you're used to choosing the wrong people, attraction is important. But if you're used to being attracted to the wrong people, give it a couple dates. That's all I'm saying.
We took a snack break. See, but I'm actually glad we did take a snack break because it made me remember a just perfect example of like self-loathing, sabotaging who you're choosing to be in a relationship with, and you don't even realize that that's what it is. Do you ever find yourself getting icked out by people? Do you get the ick very easily? That is actually the perfect example of your shame manifesting because what the ick is, like it's really a secondhand embarrassment. And secondhand embarrassment comes from the fact that, oh man, if I was like that person, I'd feel so ashamed.
Right.
And so if you get icked out by people of the opposite sex, it's because someone is reminding you of a trait that you really don't want to face in yourself. Most of the time it has something to do with like not having it all together. Like funniest example, like a guy chasing a ping pong ball. Like after it falls off the table,
Or
it's like
running down the hill.
yeah, exactly. It's just not being put together all the time.
Not
And
being nonchalant.
yes, yeah, exactly. Because a lot of the times, I think you could probably speak to this, girls often want their guys to have it all together so that they don't have to face the ways that they feel scared themselves, that they don't have it all together.
No.
What?
What?
Exactly.
No, honestly, that's very true. And I find myself, maybe you don't give me the,
She doesn't have that specific reaction.
no,
but
like, you don't
thankfully, that'd be annoying.
give me, yeah, like, you don't give me the ick, obviously.
Yeah.
But, like, there are times,
I know how to give you the ick though. Oh, princess.
There are times things are unresolved in my own heart, and then I want them to be all put together in you so that I can find that sense of safety. And
I threw her off so hard with that.
yes. Okay, you know what? That was it. That's all I need to say.
She also likes my Toronto boys, eh, shorty?
Go away.
Yo, holla at DK on camera. Yo, smile for the camera, shorty.
So
I really transformed, dude. I've become someone else, man. I don't know what just took a hold of me, guys. So I don't know who that was.
So anyway, 3.
Number 3. The third reason that you keep choosing the wrong people is because you just have the wrong people around you, period. You know when you start working somewhere and then like you see someone and they're not really that attractive, but like after like the days and weeks and however long of working there, they suddenly just become so hot to you.
Ever worked at a day camp? You know what this is
Any
like.
summer camp, if you've ever been a camp counselor, I know what you did, and you're gross.
Oh my god.
All of them have done that, including me.
We've all been there. Yeah, but any
yes.
workplace, because it's also happened in other workplaces.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But like, all this to say, the power of proximity is real. So that if you're running in the wrong crowd, like even people that you wouldn't even necessarily be attracted to, like just being in the same circles all the time can kind of make your discernment go out the door and kind of make you go. I don't know what that was. Like, if you're really looking to try and find a husband or wife, which, you know, I'm assuming if you made it this far into the video, which, by the way, if you did, you should probably like it, because I would like it, and then subscribe, because then she would like it.
And then hit the bell button.
Ow. But yeah, if you made it this far into the video, you're serious about this. Like, you are looking to change, and it's definitely around the corner if you get some new people around you, because you can't just be hanging out at the club all the time and expect to meet the love of your life. Maybe leave the club scene, get yourself in a good church. And I mean a good one, because honestly, at some of these churches, you could find worse people than the club people.
This community is important.
Exactly. Like, community just meaning like the people that are closest to you. Like, they can spot things in other people that you, because of your own stuff that we already talked about, like you can't see it clearly.
Totally.
And you know, obviously, if your friends are also in dysfunctional relationships and they're not doing any better than you probably shouldn't listen to that. Not to say that they can never be right, but like, you want to follow people and be around people that are going after the same things you're going after.
Yeah, so you're looking that the people that you're surrounding yourself with are bearing much fruit, right? And then if they're bearing fruit that you want to see in your own life, probably people that you should be surrounding yourself with, and maybe even inviting them into a conversation and allowing them to speak into your life.
Yeah, no, because most of your bad decisions are made in hiddenness. So if you finally decide that you are done with choosing the wrong people, you may have to get serious and get around some new people. So whichever one of those points stood out to you, let us know which one in the comments. We'd love to hear it. However, if you want to figure out how to not ruin your relationships when you do find the right person, you should check out our other video, like right here. That'll help. Or maybe you just haven't really seen a lot of relationships in your life that aren't super toxic all the time, in which case you should check out our vlog here, where we keep the toxicity to a minimum, but I bring the little bit though. Okay, anyways, bye guys.